Okay. It's been a while since I've tapped into the Anunnaki. Seems to be an obsession for some. So, yeah, there's probably therapy out there or something like that. But, you got to do what you got to do. Yeah, some are like really taking it to a whole new level, especially when they have like the romance novel with Enki and Marduk and we'll have more power too on that. Some are under that mind control. It's like it's in the past. It's time to move forward, or not. You just be haunted by it for the rest of your life. No power to you on that one. Yeah, do you, as they say, or somebody says that. So we connect to Anunnaki consciousness. Yeah, without doing it, Enki or NLL or anything, just do a consciousness. Let them explain themselves. Oh God. I guess they run. I guess it's some of the spiritual community just run out of things to, dilute. Still waiting for the Enki romance novel. It's probably several of them out there, but God help us all. Help us all. And so this is what I might have heard this before, but at least this term, I'm not even sure I'm even pronouncing it right. It's a star, first off. Aldebaran race. Aldebaran. So this is connected. Aldebaran. This is connected to the Aryan race of the Nazi Party. So, which I might have heard this term. You look this term up, you don't really find it anywhere, but apparently it is connected to them. Just not. It's weird. So, like Aryan race, I've never heard of. So, yeah, Nordic race. That's perfect society, kind of a dictatorship, at least in their world. They come here to manipulate. Well, the Nazis tapped into that energy, channeled it. And they were looking for the Nazis were looking for had an identity crisis, so they tapped into the Atlantean energies, and here we are being microchipped and chemtrailed and poisoning our food. And they say the Nazis aren't here. It's like, I'm not sure about that. Did they actually lose? Well, if they lost, somebody took all their stuff and using it on us. So definitely it's working with depopulation, that's for sure. So there's even some Nazi energy, obviously, with Stranger Things, for sure. And that's like a huge popular show and all that. It's like, figures. There's more to it than that, but it's a short version of it. And also connected to Indonesia. I believe I've kind of tapped this a long time ago. Just it's not an energy I tap into very often. Just connect to Java Island. I can't even pronounce what that's called. I'm not gonna bother trying. But yeah, Indonesia frequency is just this is not something on the radar of many people for good reason. I know I'm talking about the past. Like, let the Anunnaki take a nap for whatever. Some are just so obsessed with that. Just it's almost comical at this point. Or trapped, or mind controlled. But the Indonesia energy, you don't hear much about that. You don't hear people super obsessed with that. Again, I guess you're in that area of the sacred temples, ancient ruins. There's there's a lot of hidden energies there. Obviously, higher frequencies. I believe a lot of those temples have, at one time, a lot of color. Maybe that's in a different dimension, but it feels like somewhere, somehow, they're very colorful. And then you got lured to our paradise currently. So it is a beacon energy connected to it. It depends on like how you are spiritually connected, how your intuition works. Like being in an area like that, you can definitely go out of body or be contacted by higher dimensional beings. It all depends on the situation. Depends on who you are. It depends on many things, but it's like a sacred site, basically. and they call it a sacred site for a reason. They don't want people messing with it. You can go to the pyramids and mess with that. Some places they don't want you to go to. At least if there is, it's only a small amount. So it makes sense. I would say some of those areas that don't get a lot of attention are probably the strongest, but they have everything has their own work. So, all right, yeah. Egypt seems to be the go-to place for spiritual people. It's very kind of bizarre in that regard. Anyway, so I'm talking about my private sessions and schedule. We have a shop here, webinar, social network, behind the scenes. I'm gonna go into that star also, but look at the Indonesian energies. Yeah, I remember doing this a while back. Yeah, it just has the energy of, because I'm not sure what that's doing there. I guess it's kind of the same energy, you can say. Yeah, just has a vibe about it. And it's very hidden for obvious reasons. So there you go. Ancient pyramids. Yeah, no surprise there. Yeah, that's one term I didn't think about looking up. Oh, yeah, that makes sense. I don't know if that's in Indonesia though. Yeah, let's see if I can look that up real quick. Nope. Yeah. Is that in Indonesia? That's in. Looks like it's in Indonesia. Yeah. It's definitely like a power tower. It feels like. Yeah, I wasn't looking for that guy. Yeah, see, there's definitely, not that well known for sure, for obvious reasons. And Buddha's watching out for it, protecting it, you can say. Yeah, that's quite a sight. Yeah. And sacred for a reason, not well known at all for obvious reasons. So, okay, so going to the. I can't even pronounce this, but yeah, but it has the jeez, yeah. So that's our sun, and that's the Aryan race sun. Jeez. Yeah. Oh yeah, it makes sense. It's near Orion. Boy, does that make sense. Yeah, they're kind of troublemakers over there. Not all troublemakers, but there's some troublemaking energy there. Let's put it that way. And yeah, it's connected to Taurus. Taurus obviously is not out of the woods either, apparently, but Aldebaran. Yeah. So it does. Yeah, I definitely feel the Nazi frequency. God, look at this frequency. Jeez, can't get over how big this thing is. Yeah. I guess some of these guys are connected to it somewhere. I guess I'm not sure. I guess some people are picking up on. Yeah. Oh boy. Okay. All right. Okay, we connect to Anunnaki. Just the consciousness of it. Hold on to your seats. And the drama begin. Shit. The amount of hold they have over people is beyond. It just, damn. Yeah. I mean, they're a pain in the ass. They're not even seen here. Just like they've always been a pain in the ass here. Okay, all right, we'll go into that and Aldebaran energies and then Indonesia, Java Island. So, okay, all right, blessings. Greetings. the consciousness of the Anunnaki. Yes, of course, there's Anunnaki beings, just like humans, that run amok, that do cause difficulties. A lot of them don't exactly have the best intentions. A lot of them are controlling. And yes, there are incarnated in your world. A lot of them are in Israel, creating problems for everybody, even if you're not aware of it. But some of you might pick up on the effects of it. Just Anunnaki beings. Now, there are Anunnaki beings that are in Aryan and that are very culture connected. Let's put it that way. No politics, just culture connect. Not with the suppression of anyone's gender. None of that. Just they want to keep the cultures alive. And then of course there's others that, and they can be also Anunnaki that just are a dictator. They just, yes, they get butt hurt very easily. They just have an ego about them. They have to control others due to their insecurities, as like the one old man syndrome. And they don't care, they do it anyway. Anunnaki beings, so obviously there's always different types of Anunnaki beings. There are different types of humans. Of course, you don't have the giants. I mean, you have giant-like people, but you don't have like giants walking around in society, which would make things very interesting. But obviously, there's agendas to keep that from happening, or genetic engineering to keep that closed down for now. As for connecting to the alien race, actual alien races to appear here, well, you're basically unraveling your own connections, as you can see, and that is what you call soul growth, multidimensional soul growth. And eventually, I mean, some of you will be able to bring in these aliens yourself. They'll be seen most likely holographically. It's just that it's not allowed yet at this point. Well, it's just people are driving in their cars, and all of a sudden, an alien appears in front of them. Not that can't happen, but obviously, some of you in the middle of the night in some areas, especially like California, you've had some alien interactions. That's where no one's around, so the aliens can come in and manipulate, let you know that they're there, and sometimes they're causing difficulties like school bullies, and sometimes they're just making you aware that they're there. So, but as for the Anunnaki frequencies, it's a dynasty that won't die out. Well, the Anunnaki made a lot of mistakes here, and they do feel like you are part of their race, like a cousin. Now, are they proud of what they did? Well, they don't really talk about it very often, for obvious reasons. It is things they just should not have done. But this world did not make anything easy either. Yes, they're part of the genetic building block of your society, but they also manipulated that to get what they want and controlling others and getting relationships. And, they're basically Anunnaki, not all the Anunnaki, but the Anunnaki, obviously, as some of you are aware, are part of the manipulations on your planet, especially the celebrities, especially those that are always flaunting their wealth. That's very Anunnaki of them. It's just, the arrogance, once again, and insecurity. But they are showing you that they're here. It's just finding their footprint or their fingerprint is not the easiest. Yeah, some of the most selfish beings in the universe are Anunnaki. It's just, a pain in the ass. I mean, there's some good that comes out of it. I mean, you discover a lot more about yourself when you're dealing with selfish beings. Not all Anunnaki are selfish, but quite a few of them are. And there's a lot of curiosity. They're willing to do things that others won't do. And that's why some incarnate with Anunnaki, because you can go a bit further with their shenanigans, as they say, than you can do with other beings. And you don't have to be a reptilian being to do it. Of course, they do have reptilian, but not all of them do. So, don't blame the reptilians for everything, please. I mean, they've been through a lot also. Of course, you don't see them here physically, but they've been through a great deal. And, they're just, they're, you can say they're trapped here just like you. Well, you don't have to say they're trapped, but, it's not exactly easy to leave this reality. So its world is like a compound. It is shut down technically from the always physically to some level, but not exactly because you're all here. So it's like a mini mall of diversity. You're just not aware of that diversity. And most of society is not believing it yet. Well, you're going to come to a time in your culture where the alien cultures will become more mainstream. It just hasn't ignited yet. Now you have the UFO phenomenon manipulations, but eventually, some people will be identifying themselves as Anunnaki being, a Palladian being, a Syrian being. You already do that, but more on a mainstream level. Yeah, it's going to look crazy. Just like Buddhism, like anything else. There's a good and bad to everything. It'll slowly come in more into your society. It's still in no hurry. It's like a hidden religion, you can say. But for the Anunnaki frequencies, they basically they're known to take risks, especially at your world, and they weren't really exactly sure how it was going to work with your genetics. It's basically they're part of your genetic makeup, basically to help you to what you are currently. But yes, to shut down. But the human was technically shut down during all of this genetic shifting that was happening. Because as you can tell, the humans here are out of control sometimes, animalistic. Of course, some Anunnaki that brought that out of themselves too. Yeah, this world has a way of changing other alien races. Some of them are nice and kind until they connect to your world and they become bitter. And some of you have noticed that. So the Anunnaki is with the. I mean, they do admire this race for sure. For going through all that you're going through. You can say putting up with it. And it's just, it is remarkable that it's still here. Because as many predicted the end a long time ago. So there's something here, yes, to root for. There is a lot to, obviously you're not always seeing what you're pulling from this reality, but it's quite a lot. Greetings. We have the Aldebaran race. Yes, the Aryan race. We don't always feel as if we are doing something wrong. But yes, we do live in a controlled environment. Like it's our way and no other way. A sign of perfection. And it has been rooted into your society. It goes into a lot of your modeling agencies, your modeling culture. Of course, it's been here in the past. The modeling energy has really increased it greatly. And of course, mind control along with it. It's like, think of a race that just only wants to go so far. Like, our idea of achievement is to, we make those rules of what that is. But you can't go beyond that. You have a very structured race. Very, yes, controlled. Is it hellish? Well, we try to keep that word out of our society, but it can be. Well, think about like your whole life is being tracked as you experience here, but worse. Well, because they're not afraid to tell you that. So, but it is about the perfection of the body and not necessarily the mind. The mind to a certain level of mind control, meaning you like what you have at your schools, you learn what we tell you. You go beyond that, you become an enemy of the state, which many have. They take their perfect lives, their perfect looks, and almost like terrorism, but it's terrorism meaning that they just go against not necessarily violent, they just go against what they're being told and escape. It's one of those situations. The Germans became obsessed with it because the Germans during World War II were being manipulated by it. At least those higher up to be a perfect race. And then the Germans, we don't realize this would ever happen. It was a goal. And some of them believe it, but a lot of them knew that was like impossible to even work. So how would you even get that to work? But that is to make the entire planet an Aryan race. This is completely insane. But realize you're connected to beings where that's already exists. Yeah, it's completely racist, of course. But not just racist, but just destructive of its own society. Like you can't really do anything outside of what you're allowed to do. So if you want to have a career, it has to be approved. Usually you're told what to do normally. We don't necessarily have factories and things like that, but we do have a structured society. And yeah, you can imagine what kind of military that would look like too. It's just a mind control society. And you have proportions of that here. So you do have some freedoms because you are allowed to break out. Of course, when you have freedoms, you have a freedom to make your body ill and sick and eat the wrong things. And, and sometimes the reason that's done is also so you can break out of the system. It's like, so you're not perfect, so you're imperfect. And for some, it's kind of killing themselves also, as you've noticed. Yeah, you have your pharmaceutical companies that are poisoning society. Obviously, as you know, the food companies doing the same thing. Yeah, choose your poison, you can say. Green sea is the consciousness of Indonesia, Java Island. There is, yes, a lot of Arcturian frequencies there. And of course, around your world. Well, basically, obviously, you see the world is not about to find inner peace. But it is good to find inner peace, but to have your wisdom along with it. Yes, you can be positive, but you can also be wisdomless also. Like you can be the most positive person around, but still ignorant. So the idea is to not forget where you can. As many do forget a great deal here. Many are getting complacent. They just don't realize, when you get out of war and society starts, you find peace and then society starts to destroy itself from within, as you see with the US and other countries. So it's just, they look away. Like the knowledge is now gone. So the idea is for higher dimensional knowledge, but yes, higher frequencies, just, because there's a responsibility of higher dimensional energies, as you know from your Atlantean myths. And there's just that myth goes on and on. It's not just here. And yes, it is a painful past for sure. Well, many are trying to figure themselves out here, as you can see. Like what kind of person you want to be here. It doesn't mean you have to be a negative person, but just like, who are you? What kind of character you want to be here? And obviously, many are going through the struggles, trying to clear out energy attacks, mental attacks on so many different levels. But society is not recognizing that. That would make things easier. If it was allowing more of a spiritual understanding. Yes, many are lost in the spiritual brainwashing, as some of you have noticed, positive and manipulation, which has plagued this world forever. A lot of the cults, that's how they rise up in power. Yes, they're positive, but they also have an agenda to control society. So they say a place like Indonesia is a place to clear out your energies, reset yourself, see the wonders there that are mysterious. It's going to stay a mystery until humanity evolves where it can allow more of those truths to come through. Obviously, there are some spiritual gurus that feel like they have answered everything, and they're just trying to create their own society, their own myth, their own. Some of them are trying to become gods here, and I believe some of you have noticed that. Like after they pass, they want to be worshipped. So that's the other double-edged sword of the spirituality, community, you could say. It's like how many spiritual gurus here that want to be worshipped after they're gone, and many will be, not for the better. I mean, yes, it's good to have that knowledge and learn from them, but there is a worship energy going on. It's like if I connect to that person, do I get higher dimensional knowledge? Do I become smarter? Do I get this? Do I get that? You're getting things, but what are you losing? and you can lose your soul with that. So